So Stowaway has just been released on Netflix around the world. It's a sci-fi drama set in space starring Toni Collette, Dae Dim, Shamier Anderson, and Anna Kendrick. Now, this film, there's almost nothing to say about this film. It is everything you've seen before, but not done nearly as well. The plot or the driving force behind the plot makes no sense, and you're given no explanation as to why things have happened the way that they've happened. I mean, I wouldn't say the acting's bland, it's just the script is probably what's bland. The actors are basically in a confined space for 2 hours, and they just have to talk and, you know, be emotional, but you don't get attached to anybody. This movie's fucking boring, man. Seriously. I'm an absolute sucker for a sci-fi, for like a space sci-fi especially. I fucking love that shit. And I was like, oh, sick. I was like, Toni Collette's got a sci-fi movie up in space. I'm like, I'm all in. I sat down and watched it, and it was very slow to begin with. The first 20 minutes, literally nothing happens. And you're kind of like, all right, this is what this film's gonna be. And then the driving force behind the plot happens, but there's no explanation as to why it's happened. It just happens. The driving force behind the plot is Shamier Anderson's character, Michael, is found as a stowaway on the MTS ship, which is the one that's going into space, into orbit. And the ship only has room for 3 people, enough oxygen for 3 people. But he's sort of hidden away in this, I can't even fucking explain it to you. There's this room on the ship that deals with the carbon dioxide. So it cleans the carbon dioxide in the ship so that the astronauts can actually breathe clean air. But it's in this sort of hatch that's on the roof, right? And Toni Collette's character, she goes in and she notices blood on the floor. And so she looks up and she sees there's blood dripping from this hatch. So she opens the hatch and boom, Michael falls out. And he's got this fucking cut on his tummy because he was hung up there. He ruined the CO2 cleaner. Now we have 4 people on a ship where there's no carbon dioxide cleaner. But what was he doing there? You know, the film explains that he works for Hyperion, which is the company who is sending these astronauts to space. But what is he doing in that particular hatch? Like, why is he there? And what happened to the cut? Why did he get cut? Throughout the film, you expect that maybe it's going to turn into kind of like a thriller where it's, you know, okay, this dude's actually a psycho, you know, like he's on this ship and he's going to terrorize us. I'd be like, oh, still doesn't make sense, but at least it would bring some tension. The whole film is literally just people sitting around going, oh, damn, well, Michael's here and we don't have enough space on the ship. We don't have enough oxygen to share, so we're going to have to kill him. And then one person's like, no, we can't do that. We've got oxygen up on the fucking outside of our spaceship. Let's go and get that. It's just like, fuck, man. This plot is so nonsensical. You can have a drama. You can have an emotional piece. You can have a film that explores how an astronaut would react in this particular situation. But you can't just give us a setup of this guy doing his master's who is a structural engineer who works for the company, who was not selected to be one of the astronauts on this 2-year mission. He wasn't selected. You need to give us some sort of background or some sort of reason for him to actually be on the ship, to be hiding on the ship. Is it something that he wants to show Hyperion that he can do it? You know, did he want to, you know, did he get rejected and he's now forcing himself onto the ship? Is he a psychopath? Is he just dumb as dog shit? How did he get into the hatch? That's all I want to know. How did he get stuck in the hatch? You know, because it was literally like screwed shut. If you imagine a box, right? He's on the inside, you've got the cap on top, and you're the one who screwed it on the outside. How's he going to screw himself into there? And if he's stuck in there and somebody screwed it shut, then they've seen him. And then it's like, okay, why did you screw him into that spot? It doesn't make any fucking sense, man. Oh, this movie... oh my god, this movie pissed me off. I watched the whole thing just to be like, okay, let's give it a chance. Let's find out what happens. You know, there's no characterization. The only person who has a little bit of characterization is probably Michael himself, who talks about having a sister back home, and maybe Anna Kendrick's character, who tells him this story about how she was a lifeguard, or not even a lifeguard. She was just on the beach, swam out to save somebody, you know, when she wasn't qualified to, and someone happened to save them. She talks about putting herself in the position of the person who's dying. It's like, are you fucking... You're a fucking doctor. You're a doctor. I don't understand. Why would you be putting yourself in a position to die without being able to help this person at all? It's just fucking stupid. This movie's a fucking 4 out of 10, honestly. Like, don't waste your time. I love Toni Collette, like, as an actress. Even Daniel Dae Kim is fantastic. Like, I'll watch any of their movies. But this was so shit, so boring, and there's no closure, there's no explanation. The film doesn't even end with them getting to the colony that they were going to. What was the point of this movie? Literally, like, it was cool to see how astronauts actually act. You know, the way that they eat their food and the way that they sleep and the way that they fucking do things. That was kind of cool. I like spacey stuff. Like, I'm very into space. But this was shit. It was bad. So don't waste your time with this one, guys. If you fucking watched Stowaway like me, like a fucking idiot, let me know what you thought about it. It's probably terrible. If you liked it, you know, you're welcome to like it. You know, some people really like these pointless slow burn. I'm a big fan of a slow burn, but I want there to be a point to the film. And there was no point. At least in my view, there was no point to this film. Didn't need to be made at all. A couple of tweaks here and there, and you've got yourself a tense thriller up in space. But you don't have that. You've just got a boring drama set on a spaceship. They could have set this in a fucking park, or they could have set this in the desert, and it would be the exact same. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Be good, people.